Following Qatar strike, Iraq calls for an Islamic military alliance to confront Israel. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani urges Muslim nations to form a joint security force as Arab and Islamic leaders rush to an emergency summit in Doha. From Indonesia's plea for Middle East unity to Brazil's rally for Iran and Palestine, regional tensions now threaten a wider confrontation. Iraq called for the establishment of an Islamic military alliance to counter the growing Israeli aggression in the Middle East. According to an Anadolu report, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani on September 14th said recent Israeli actions in Gaza and Qatar demand a collective response.
Israeli Tuesday's airstrike on Doha, which killed 5 Hamas members and a Qatari security officer, was a shocking breach of international law and a reminder that Israel's actions threaten the security of the entire region.
Sudani, while talking to Al Jazeera, urged Arab and Islamic countries to build a comprehensive political, security, and economic partnership.
There is no reason Muslim nations cannot form a joint security force to defend themselves. The Islamic world holds numerous levers that could be used to deter Israel, and Israeli aggression will not stop at Qatar.
The Iraq also pointed to what he described as systematic killings in Gaza for nearly 2 years. His comments came ahead of the Arab-Islamic summit to be attended by Arab and Islamic foreign ministers to discuss Israel's attack on Hamas's leadership in Doha. The gathering is also expected to see the activation of a long-proposed joint Arab military force, an initiative first advanced by Egypt nearly a decade ago. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani on September 14th, at a preparatory meeting ahead of the September 15th Arab-Islamic summit, said that Israel's attack will not lead to anything but aborting de-escalating efforts.
This Israeli aggression will not lead to anything but aborting de-escalating efforts and confirm the Israeli government's intentions to reject peaceful paths to resolving the Palestinian issue and to continue defying international will in the UN Charter, as evidenced by repeated statements by Israeli officials regarding the annexation of Palestinian territories and the illusions of a greater Israel. Israel's barbaric and demagogic practices will not deter us from continuing our sincere efforts with the Arab Republic of Egypt and the United States to stop this unjust war. The state of Qatar will not tolerate any violation of its sovereignty or threat to its national security. The Qatari sovereignty is a matter that cannot be disregarded or transgressed. We will confront any threat to us with all means guaranteed by international law.
According to Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Majid Al-Ansari, the summit will consider a draft resolution on the Israeli attack on the state of Qatar. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Aboul Gheit told a Sharq al-Awsat newspaper that a resolution to be considered by heads of state condemns Israel's attack as a destabilizing escalation, adding that the states oppose Israel's plans to impose a new reality in the region.
The message of this summit, which must reach everyone loud and clear, is solidarity with Qatar, Doha, from the Arab and Islamic worlds against the aggression of the occupying Israeli state. This aggression, which combines cowardice, treachery, and foolishness.
The attack, which Hamas says killed 5 of its members but not its leadership, has prompted US-allied Gulf Arab states to close ranks, adding to strains and ties between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, which normalized relations in 2020. The emergency gathering of Arab and Islamic leaders will serve as a pointed show of unity among Gulf countries and seek to pile more pressure on Israel, which is already facing mounting calls to bring an end to the war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Among the leaders expected at the summit are Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas arrived in Doha on September 14th. It remains to be seen whether Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, will attend the gathering, though he visited Qatar earlier last week in a show of neighbourly solidarity. Netanyahu said on September 13th that getting rid of Hamas leaders living in Qatar would remove the main obstacle to releasing hostages still held by the group in Gaza and ending the war that began with the militant group's October 7th, 2023, attacks. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto and United Arab Emirates. President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan have called for unity among Middle Eastern nations in responding to rising regional tensions. The two leaders met on September 12 in Abu Dhabi for high-level talks on the situation in the Middle East. They underscored the importance of international cooperation and urged countries in the region to work together to preserve peace and stability. Al Nahyan welcomed Prabowo's visit, calling Indonesia a strategic partner in Southeast Asia, while Prabowo highlighted the UAE's role as a key ally for Jakarta. Beyond regional dynamics, the meeting also reaffirmed strong bilateral ties between Indonesia and the UAE. Both leaders described each other's nations as close friends and strategic partners, pledging to expand cooperation across various sectors. Before visiting the UAE, Prabowo travelled to Doha, Qatar, to convey Jakarta's support to Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, following Israel's recent airstrike on a residential area in the Qatari capital. Meanwhile, representatives from dozens of parties and organisations attended a major international conference in the Brazilian capital, where they declared their support for Iran, Venezuela, Palestine and Lebanon amid Western pressures. The meeting, which began with respect for the Iranian martyrs of the Israeli-imposed war against Iran, was held under the motto, "International solidarity against imperialism and for the sovereignty of nations." The participants in the meeting issued a joint statement emphasizing principles such as the right of nations to self-determination, national sovereignty, and the fight against the hegemony of great powers.
The oppressive sanctions against Iran and Venezuela are a crime against humanity. We declare our deep solidarity with the people and governments of these countries. Also, defending the resistance of the Palestinian people against the Zionist occupation is a revolutionary and humane duty for all the emancipatory forces of the world.
The participants considered the United States and its allies' policies to be the main source of instability in the Middle East and Latin America, calling for an immediate end to the unjust blockade against Cuba and Venezuela. The gathering was appreciated by the participants as a symbol of solidarity of the Global South and strengthening the unity between anti-imperialist movements in the Americas and Asia.